welcome everyone to our virtual co-working and write-in, edit-in events. I'm Coral Sands, author and one of your quest guides for today's writing event.
And I'm Ansley Ashe, author and co-quest guide.
To keep myself accountable, I love write-in events. We get to meet so many different writers from around the world, and today we will be doing sprints with prompts followed by short breaks.
During our short breaks, we will be chatting a bit so you can get to know us.
We are live on YouTube, but feel free to watch the VOD afterwards so you can pause if you need more time with prompts. While you're on YouTube, please click subscribe so you do not miss us go live.
And don't forget to share. We appreciate all the support you've shown us so far. Before we get much further, let's discuss our upcoming events. Coral?
All right, we have a huge list of amazing guests coming up. Today we have TheLadyWrites. I'll introduce her to you in just a moment. We have November 7th, Carson Long. November 10th, Jason S. Wrench. For our halfway mark, we have the founder of NaNoWriMo, Chris Batty. November 17th, Sam McAdams. November 21st is Melanie Johnson. November 24th is Nikki Green. And November 28th is Jenny Johnson. And then we will finish up everything December 1st for our Thank Goodness Over Party. Don't forget, I post all of our upcoming events on our Facebook group called Writing Quest, as well as on our Substack. If you want them emailed directly to you to remind you when our events are, I'll leave a link in the description. So, Ansley, what are we going to do today?
It's finally November. Yay! That means Novel Quest. Novel Quest is a free annual motivational challenge where writers complete a novel writing or editing goal, for example, 50,000 words in 30 days. There are regional, in-person, virtual, and hybrid events, as well as virtual badges to help participants stay motivated while having fun in the process of achieving their goals. To help, Writing Quest also supplies a Google Sheets tracker where writers can track their individual goals, and those that have opted in can see how others are doing to cheer them on. The link to the tracker is in the description below.
And since it is November 3rd, we are so excited for you to meet our special guest author, TheLadyWrites, aka Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Hi. I apologize.
Thanks for joining it. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, we also have a Keiko that's going to be making her appearances.
We're so excited to have both of you. Today we're going to do an interview with Katrina. I'm going to ask her some quick fire questions. If you have some, drop them in the chat and Coral will keep an eye on that. And afterwards, when we're done asking Katrina about her writing, we'll get to play a game together. We'll have our sprints followed by prompts and followed by our breaks where we will get to chat with Katrina a little bit more and see about her writing. Okay, are we ready to go? Everyone?
Let's go.
All right. So, Katrina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, we'll start with Cat Mom, obviously. I have been writing and publishing for a lot of years. I have about 60 books out. I do predominantly science fiction. I do sometimes genre hop. I put those in other pen names. We're adventuring into YouTube early next year. I stream on Twitch every day to help productivity and, well, every day that I can to help with productivity and to answer questions for writing and marketing. I do a lot of author marketing and support to help other authors reach their goals, which is probably my greatest passion at this point.
Cool. So you answered, so do you have any additional pets or hobbies? We see your cat. But yeah.
She's one of 6. And she's going to make sure that we...
You?
Yes, she is. Oh.
She's just like, Mom, how dare you be live without me?
Oh, my planets, yes. So she's one of six. We have six. I also live with an artist and a gamer, so we have some really fun creative conversations.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
So that's a fun thing we do. Matter of fact, I'm actually wearing a shirt that the artist designed, just because I love it. I don't really have a lot of free time between streaming and writing, and I've gone back to school so that I can get into audiobook development, so we can be better support. Inexhaustible Media's goal is to be a good author support resource. So this will be fun. It's the next adventure.
It sounds like you're doing all your passions. Okay, so your current project, what genre is it in? And tell us a little bit about it.
Current project is actually in two genres. It is in science fiction and historical fiction. I am writing two series with very similar storylines, just one is set in the far past and one is set in the far future. They're both takes on Arthurian tales. So that's
fun.
Yeah. It is. And it's more challenging than I thought it would be.
Oh, isn't it always? Isn't it always? But fun. Mm-hmm. Okay. So have you ever participated in a writing challenge before like this?
I actually run one. In January, I do Stories on Fire, which is a short story a day challenge. It also runs in September, so twice a year. In January, we've started branching out to help others pick a story and get it into publication. Other than that, so like we go through the editing process in subsequent months. We go through editing and covers and stuff. So yes, I've participated. I've been doing that since 2019. I have tried NaNoWriMo. I notoriously failed with NaNoWriMo. December 1st, though, my favorite story with that, I signed up for NaNoWriMo. I got a bunch of friends of mine into the accountability circle with me. We were gung-ho, and they took off, like, right out of the gate. You know, next thing I know, they're halfway through their novels. They're like a week in. And I'm like, I know what I'm going to write. And I spent the whole month, basically, I know what I'm going to write. December 1st hit, and 6 weeks later, I had completed 2 full-length novels because it was a 2-parter.
Of course. Of course. I think some of us who did NaNoWriMo for years and years and years have similar stories to that. Like, I've had some nanos that have gone fantastically well and some nanos that were like, this story is here, but excuse you, I'm not ready to be written yet. And that's just the way it goes.
Exactly.
So do you have any advice for somebody who might be trying a challenge such as Novel Quest?
Pace yourself and give yourself grace. It is not a sprint, although it's going to feel like one. It is a marathon, and if it doesn't finish in the challenge, that's okay. You did more than what you started with. And by setting the bar high, you reached higher than you would have if you didn't.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Okay, do you consider yourself a planner, a pantser, or both, or something between? Something else, maybe?
Kind of something in between. I always know where my stories are going to end, but if I sat there and tried to plot it out, I'd never write the story. So I know where they're ending, and I just kind of work backwards. If there's something in particular that I know has to happen, and about where it has to happen, I'll make notes for that. But it's not really an outline. The minute the outline comes out, I'm off in some other book somewhere writing something completely different.
Makes sense. Okay. What's your favorite place to write?
That's a really good question. I haven't thought about that. I think wherever I can find quiet or wherever I can put my music on safely.
Yes, some of my music choices should not be out in public, for sure. What's your favorite snack while writing?
Anything that's small and easy. So like chips are good. Pretzels. I love pretzels. Carrots.
Yes.
Particularly the baby carrots, because you get that satisfying crunch.
I like the skinnier ones because like they're small enough to crunch and you can put in your hand and like you don't have to chew and chew and chew on them. You know, it's like you get the crunch and they're better for me than, you know, like my popcorn. Yeah, I love baby carrots. It's a great one. Okay. So are you published?
I have about 60 books out right now. Aiming for 100 by the end of next year.
Indie published or traditionally published?
I'm indie. When my kids were little, I was talking to an agent and I had to make a decision. I'm a very family-oriented person. I had to be able to pay my bills. So I could take the 4% they were offering, potential, or I could take 70%. At which point, it felt like it was pretty easy. I was going to take the 70%. I had to feed my family. So I went indie, and I can't say I have never looked back, but it really hasn't been pressing for me to consider the hybrid route. Although I've seen some really successful authors do it, and I think it's a wonderful thing. And I think it's great that we all have so many options today to pick what works for us. So I'm 100% indie, but wherever I can help any author at any time, I'm always happy to shout them out and cheer them on because it's great.
Yeah, we really agree with you here at Writing Quest. Okay, what was your biggest struggle as a writer and how did you overcome it?
Imposter syndrome. It continues to be my biggest struggle. So I can't say I've overcome it. But what I do find is that when I recognize it standing in my way, I go through and prove to myself with evidence that I already have, such as going through and seeing that, yeah, my book hit number 1. That was real. I know what I'm doing. Or when I experimented with different marketing techniques, I go back and look at those sales and I go, okay, this is when I did that. This was the decision I made. This is what worked and what didn't work. I did that. I learned that. So when I hit something that feels like it's going to stand in my way, that's what I do is I prove to myself that, no, you decided to try this because you actually know what you're doing.
That's great advice. Okay, so what do you do to balance your work life? And it's November, it's the holiday season almost here. How do you balance all of that together?
Well, I've always worked from home. Until recently, I'm working at a library because it's teaching me something about the industry. But so everything I do, I've always done intentionally. I am one of those people that designed my life to be a certain way. And so for me, my balance is just doing the things that I've already laid out and sticking with it. And
I think that can be really hard. Yeah.
It is. It's incredibly difficult. But I'm blessed that we've always found a way.
Yeah, I think intentionality is a huge thing, but it can be hard to maintain it. All right, Coral says we have something in the chat. So what does the chat want to know?
Well, we just wanted to get a little bit more information about the Write Team. Can you tell us about the Write Team?
The Write Team is a group of streaming authors who are working to support the specifically on Twitch, but we'll expand. We stream productivity streams, and we aim to support the writing community as a whole. They're all safe spaces. They're all positive. Each one of us are very different and very dedicated to the community and to helping one another. So we're just a group of people who want everyone to know that they can come to our streams comfortably, get their questions answered. Most of us are published. Some of us are not, but we're moving in that direction. All of us are professional. And we have fun with it. And it's a great time in the streams. So
That
we're
sounds
hoping
like
to be
so
the
much
resource.
fun.
It is. And the collaborations are great.
Fun. Yes. Okay. Is there a craft book about writing that you recommend?
Okay, so this is where resources. I'm all about resources. I like Plotter for those who need to plan anything. It's really good for those of us who don't plan for notes, as strange as that probably sounds. I can't sit down with Plotter and be like, here's my story, but I can, these are the elements that I need to keep in mind and about what order they need to show up. So it's kind of more like a checklist for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
this particular.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's just that's the first one that comes to mind. The other ones are things like, I love BookBrush, which I use for marketing before, during, and after book, but that's what we're supposed to hopefully be marketing. I created all of the book covers for the Right Team anthologies through there. And I love every one of them. They're very quick and easy. They save a lot of time. It's a wonderful thing.
Interesting.
Those are the resources. There are others, I'm sure, but I'm not going to take up too much time.
Okay. What advice do you have for a first-time author?
For a what?
First-timer. A first-time author.
First-time author. I apologize. First-time author, finish the book. The biggest difference between a published author, whether you're traditionally or indie, is getting that book done. You can talk about it all you want. You can be excited about it all you want, but you need to get to the words at the end. As soon as you get there, the rest will fall into place.
Okay. And how do you handle writer's block?
I blow something up. If I don't know where a story should go, as a matter of fact, if you were to read my series, any of my series, and something explodes, characters have to react to something extreme. So, like if there's suddenly a car crash or a spaceship gets a rip in the hole, or, someone trips and falls down a flight of stairs and knocks over something that turns the ship upside down, that was probably writer's block. And I fixed it. I blew something up.
That works amazingly well. That sounds like so much fun. Okay, so Coral, are we ready to talk about our game?
Oh, yes, I'm actually really happy to introduce one of my favorite games. When I was a little girl, my mom used to give me random words, and I would have to create a poem from them called a found poem. Now I do this exercise with my writing group, and it's so challenging and fun. Ansley, how does this work?
Okay, so we have randomly picked, 6 words, and everyone must try to include as many of these words into a scene as they can. Then afterwards, we will share how many words we got, and if we have time, share our writing, but everything we're writing will be on the screen so you can see our process as we write.
Yes, everyone can join us for this game, even you in the chat, and let's see how many words we can get. You'll have 5 minutes for this game. Is everybody ready? Okay, let's begin. Words are on the screen. 5 minutes on the clock, and let's go. That being means it is time for a break. How did everyone do? How many of the hidden words did you get hidden into your story?
I got them all. What about you, Katrina? What about you, Carl?
I got them all.
I got them all except for Cam. I was just about to get that in there, and then we ran out of time.
Yeah, so I think to finish straight was the hardest one to get in there. I've been having this reflection on that word because it's one of my friend's favorite words to put in her writing, and it's like, that just seems like an oddly specific word. Like, when and how would I use it? It's a great word, though.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great word, and I wasn't sure about that, so I figured my character wouldn't know. I mean, she's only like 17, so she doesn't really know that word. So I figured her asking "what is it" was perfect.
I actually had somebody exercise that word.
Nice.
And then there was a lovely conversation afterwards with the other two people who were still in the house building. I just thought it was fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess for those people out there, defenestrate is a specific word. It means to push someone out a window to their death. It just seems like really, really specific. It's like, and I think it goes back somewhere in medieval times. So this is like maybe a medieval siege warfare word, for which like some of those are really, really interesting. So yeah.
Katie says attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, love me more.
Mm-hmm.
We do love them.
Attention.
We do love them.
We do.
Yeah, she and I share the chair. Normally, I think recently she's decided she's sharing my lap for all the things instead.
My brother's cat is asleep on the bed I'm using right now, and it's very angry at me when I walk into my room. So we're gonna have a fight with his cat tonight over my bed, it seems like. So oops.
Well, they'll get used to it.
Apparently still in his bed. Hope so. I'm here for a few more days. Okay, so we have about 2 minutes left. Our next prompt is going to be coming up here really soon. This is the part where we tell everybody to turn off their inner critic. Make sure that, like, words are words. We just need to get through them. Be brave. Your writing is the best place to take a risk, because it's okay to fail, because you can always fix it in editing. Nobody else has to see it. You don't have to share it, or you can share it. It's up to you. But like, take those risks that you're afraid to take, because this is the safest place you can take them and the best place for you to grow as an artist. So like, just turn that off. No, none of this, it's not good enough. It's good enough. It's good enough if it's on paper, because you can fix it later. The only thing you can't fix is a blank page.
Mm-hmm.
That is so true. And sometimes the best way when you have no idea what to write is to start in the middle of an action. And that's what we are kind of doing with our first prompt. Prompt number 1 is, well, that escalated quickly. Now, either you can have someone say that, or maybe somebody thinks that, but then you have to like, okay, now what escalated quickly? Why did it escalate quickly? And what is happening? And so that is going to be our first prompt, and we're going to put 10 minutes on the clock. And we have about 20 seconds left of this break. So make sure that everybody, you're staying hydrated, drink your water. I got some coffee. All right, and then we're gonna dive right on in. 3, 2. All right, let's write. Great. All right. How did everybody do? Write how many words you got into the chat. All right. And Katrina, how did you do?
I think I'm about 298. And maybe something I could add to
bad.
part of the stories.
Yeah.
I got
that's
almost
really,
400.
Oh, that's
How about you,
phenomenal.
Yeah, this story's
My
going to write
God.
itself. I mean, like, it's just there.
I love when that happens.
I love when that happens too. I got 272 words, and I'm really happy about that. It's from a section of the book that has not been written yet, and I have been having definitely some writer's block with it, so this prompt actually helped me break through that writer's block. And
Awesome.
I didn't add an explosion, but I did add something big did happen, so they had to react to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It works.
that's awesome. Okay, so my book is just like going along just fine. It's hard to tell that it's a mystery at this point because there's so many side plots that are getting juicy, but they all feed the main plot. So like that's probably going to be my discipline this month is remember to write the crimes. That might be a little bit the problem.
Yeah. I have to do
That
something
seems like
very
a good
similar
people.
where I write my theme on a little note card, and so that I can always remember that when I get stuck, to make sure that I think about the theme and how does the scene relate to the theme, and that kind of helps me write as well.
Mm-hmm. These are good.
Yeah, those are really. Yeah, that's really important to remember, I think. So, okay. Katrina, do you have a theme for the current book that you're writing, and what is it? If you do.
I don't really think about themes until after the fact. So I'm sure it's there. It's just not present
But
in
you're
mind.
not. It's just not one of the things that you talk about or think about beforehand. That goes into the being a pantser thing. I think a lot of pantsers feel that way, and a lot of plotters are like, what is my theme and how can I get every single scene to kind of like go back to that? So yeah, I think it is a difference in writing style.
I find my characters just kind of have their own direction, and so themes do come up when you go back and you're doing your editing and revisions. You find them. But when I am first writing that draft, it's not a thing in mind. It's just the characters tell me where we're going, and that's where we go.
That's how the majority of my story is right now. Like I paint, so I'm a discovery writer through the majority of my story. But now that I am going in and trying to finish the story, I am trying to remember this theme while I'm doing it. So I am trying to be more of a plotter through the rewrite. And so, yeah, it's definitely a different way of thinking.
Yeah, because I write mystery and it requires so much plotting, I absolutely love characters just reach out from the page and they just like pull me in and they're like, no, it's going to happen this way, because that's when I know my character is alive and that makes my story come alive. So there is an element to that in a way.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So we should probably take a moment to talk about our second prompt. Is going to be what is the fallout from our last the last prompt. So what was the fallout from what happened? We're going to put 10 minutes onto the clock, and let's do it. Let's write the fallout. Okay, that ding means it's time for a break. How did everybody do? If you are in the chat, put in how many words you got in the chat so we can see how well you did and we can cheer you on. Looks like NX 232 got 141, the clunkiest rating I've ever put to page, LOL, but also the first words I've put to page in quite a while, so I will take it. Yay!
Yay!
We will take all
words
the words.
Yay. That's so exciting.
That's awesome.
Coral, how did you do?
I did. Let me take a look. You did. Word count 240 words that came out in the end, and I'm very happy with them. How about you, Ansley? How did you do?
That's amazing. About 350, because like I said, this book is writing itself, so it's like, how fast can you type?
Fantastic. Katrina, how did you do?
This time I got 68. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still not sure if this is going to work, but I don't hate where it's going.
Fair enough.
That's what editing is for, like, and that's what taking risks is for. Is like, will it work? Will it not work? I mean, you don't know till you try. So, like, yay! I'm really excited for you. I'm really excited for your story. So, having fun.
Love to see it.
We'll get there.
Absolutely. I'm in the middle of a part in my story where they are testing out an antidote, and the antidote did not work. And so now they are wondering whether or not they need to retreat or push forward, even knowing that the antidote's not going to work, and they'll have to face the creatures. So fun.
I mean, so much fun, Coral. So much fun. Okay. All right, so we go ahead and start talking about our next prompt. So remember, a lot of times what I struggle with the most is writing the setting into the actual scene, because I see it more as dialogue inside my head the first time through. And so it's really important to make sure that you put your setting in there as well, so you don't have to add too much later and change the scene. So let's think of one concrete detail that you can put into your scene that will reveal what the setting is while you're going through the next time. So like as concretely as possible, because that one detail, that may be all that your reader needs. And that way you're not stuck like describing the flowers on the wallpaper for 6 pages. That's a bad thing. We don't want to put that out. But just one detail, a singular detail that sets it concretely into the world.
Absolutely. I am really excited. Katrina is just going to take a moment real quick and she'll be right back. But let's talk a little bit about, we got to try to figure out what is one detail that sets your story concretely into your world. I'm wondering how I'm going to do that with my story. Since there's a bunch of shifters in the story, I'm wondering if I don't know what's one detail I could use in order to bring it all back together. This is going to be a tough one for me, I think.
And for me, it's picking, like the one thing out of, because I'm writing in a series and I've already described these, it's picking the one thing out that sets it in there that's going to both remind everybody who's read it up to the point what it is without going too far into like the new reader and like boring them to death. So like, what is that one thing in the scene that my readers already know, but that the new reader needs to know as well. So it's going to be a challenge for me as well.
All right. Well, we're just going to take a deep breath and we're going to put 10 minutes onto the clock and let's dive in. All right. What is one detail that sets your story concretely in your world? Means it is time for a break. How did everybody do? Make sure you write it into the chat so we can see how many words you got. And Ansley, how did you do that time?
330 or so.
Nice.
That's great.
Katrina, how did you do?
I just looked at it. 320.
320, rock on. I got just shy of both of those at 259. I'm so happy with every single one of those words.
Fantastic.
Had to convince my character that she did not want to continue on. She did, in fact, need to retreat with the rest of the team. And I think we got her to follow the rest of the team. She may go rogue.
Good.
I'm not going to lie.
I now have to figure out why they kidnapped Arthur.
Oh no! Poor Arthur!
That wasn't where I saw the scene going, but it's where it's at.
Right. What about you, Ansley? Oh, looks like
Froze.
she'll
Maybe?
refresh. Yeah, her internet's up and down. We'll get her back in just a second. No worries. So yeah.
On a good note, one of the things I do like is that apparently everybody knows Guinevere is no one to joke with.
There you go. All right. I love that name, Guinevere.
I have always loved that name. And when I decided to try to research some of the Arthurian tales for one of my other projects, as a matter of fact, it was a Right Team anthology that we did, I realized nobody really, like, in the time frame that it was written, nobody really wrote about Guinevere. There's no original tales about her and her life and who she is, except as Arthur's wife and Lancelot's lover. So she tends to feature pretty predominantly in both of the series that I'm writing. As a person, not as somebody's person.
Yes, absolutely. She needs her story to be told. I love this. I love that. That's great. What about you, Ansley? How was your writing? What did you write about?
We're writing yet another gossipy scene because that's the theme of this novel, where they're trading information back and forth between Allison and her besties. So yeah, that's interesting stuff happened.
Absolutely.
We had to include crime information.
Those are important.
Absolutely.
Very important in a mystery.
Okay. Our next prompt is, who is your main character's opposite? Which I think is definitely something very interesting to think about. Like, what character would be a great example of just being completely opposite of your main character? And that sometimes can really help show the flaws of your characters or even strengths of your characters. So I love that.
It's a great way to introduce like a foil for one of your characters as well. So it keeps the reader, like engaged in the main character story by somebody who makes maybe the opposite decision. So a lot of fun.
Oh, yes. I'm trying to think. I think my main character is a untrained teen that has been forced into the shifting world. So I think her opposite would be one of the shifters who is a trained warrior. I think that would be a really good example. So maybe I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure with mine. The character is a sailor that happens to have noticed the ship coming in and recognizes the problem they're actually facing. So I don't know what the opposite's going to be yet.
All right.
You'll figure it out.
Yes, you got this.
I appreciate the confidence.
Even if the prompts don't work, you can just keep writing where you last left off. Sometimes it comes to you then.
True.
into this time for a break. And how did everyone do? Make sure you put how many words you got into the chat so we can see how you did and cheer you on. And Katrina, how did you do?
I was just checking. 350.
Nice job. We got NX232 in the chat who got 167 words. Phenomenal job.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Ansley, how did you do?
378. So, yeah, we did that, and I managed to have my setup for my foils. So, yeah, did good.
Phenomenal. I got 312 myself, and I think I showed how opposite a character my main character is from the warrior. She did refused a command and went against everybody and left her team, and my team had to go drag her literally back into safety because she was being irresponsible. So
I'm not even reading it yet. I need to.
We're all like, how do we get on Coral's beta list right now? I love it.
Do you have a newsletter somewhere?
Yeah.
No, so Writing Quest does, though. Writing Quest has their own Substack, so please, there is a link to the Substack in the description, so make sure that you guys follow and subscribe to our newsletter.
It is a lot of fun. We do have a little bit of tips in there as well if you don't get enough with us today, and the rest of the team contributes articles to that every couple of weeks, so it's fun times.
Absolutely. Which reminds me, I need to write another article for the upcoming newsletter, so I'll put that on my agenda.
I think I just introduced Morgana, but I'm not positive. But I'm pretty sure that's the opposite of what I needed. So, not so much the main character of this section, but and I'm still not sure how Morgana and Guinevere are going to be.
Yeah, Morgana is one of my favorite characters from the Arthurian canon, so I always love it when she shows up. It's a lot of fun. Okay. All right. Moving into our next prompt, we're going to ask you to describe a scene without using sight, which, to engage all of those other senses. There's also a reason for that. Both of my parents, my dad is legally blind and my mother is totally blind. And so grounding scenes and things other than sight is a way for my work to connect to my parents and what they would understand. So
I love that. That's amazing. And also, sight is the most commonly used sense when people are writing. We're very visual people, so it's very easy to get stuck on visuals and stuff like that. So it is a fun activity to really work those creative muscles and try to use other senses other than sight to ground your story.
Yeah, and especially something that you hear or something that you smell, IRL, your sense of smell is most closely tied to your memory. So that's probably something, especially if you have a flashback scene, a smell can bring you back like that, IRL, so maybe something fun for your character to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about hearing a song, how a song can bring you back to nostalgic times and and remember a memory as well. So, all right. So let's think about how we can use our other senses to describe what's going on in the scene. All right. Let's go. that ding means it is time for yet another break. How did everybody do? Make sure that you put how many words you got into the chat so we can cheer you on. And yeah, Katrina, how did you do?
I got 310. And she's a snake.
310. She's... All right. And in chat, we have NX232 got 242 words. Fantastic job.
Oh.
We love to see it.
I feel like every time we hear from them, they get more words. I'm so excited for them. It feels like they're really getting into their creativity. I love that. I love that.
That was fantastic. And Ansley, how did you do?
Ask each other the same question. I got about 400 that time. And I used a scene where my main character does something she never does, which is cry. And she's busted by her son doing it. Oh. And to get her to stop crying, he does what every teenage boy does. And he asks his mom to go drive him someplace else to hang out with his friends.
Oh. Yes.
That sounds right.
I got 324 words, and I just put my character into a hospital room, and the smells and sights and smells and hearing all reminds them about their mom, and that made them regret what they did by leaving their team, and because they knew that if their mom was still alive, they would be hounding them for putting everybody into danger.
Like a mom should.
Mm-hmm.
It's very mom realistic. I may or may not have done that to my own kids a few times.
We kind of have to as mamas. They got to figure it out. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they need us to do it.
Yes. Yes.
Love it.
The hardest thing to represent in writing is like that balance that every parent goes through between like letting your kid fail and that need to step in. And since every parent draws that line differently, reflecting that differently in every character, and not necessarily the way I would do it, but the way the character would do it. That for me is the hardest part.
I could definitely see that. I'm not a mom, but getting that dynamic is right. This is true. All my bunnies and stuff like that. But getting that dynamic right is definitely really hard. And I do lean a lot on how my parents brought me up and stuff like that. So you do kind of lean on your experiences, I think.
Yeah, we absolutely have to. Sorry, I'm just surprised by where the story is going.
Yes, we love to see it. When the story surprises us, it's one of my favorite things when I'm discovery writing is just finding out where the story leads me. It's such a great experience.
Okay, only a few minutes left. So this is our 6th and final prompt for the afternoon. So we're going to ask you to write a scene where your character gets excited about something absolutely mundane, because that's what's going to make your character quirky.
I am excited about this prompt because not that I have an idea, because I have no idea what I'm going to write about yet, but I love when people geek out over the small things. So be very interested to see how a character reacts to this seemingly mundane object. Why are they so excited about it? What makes that special?
I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do mundane where I'm at.
Yes, that's true too. All right. Let's do this. You just finished a 1-hour writing and editing marathon. We are so proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Katrina, for hanging out with us today. Before we close out, we want to encourage everyone to check out Katrina's website at reamstories.com/Katrina Taylor and read all of her books.
Yes, read all of our books.
All of them are in the process of being uploaded there. All of the ones under my name are being uploaded. It'll be fun.
Yes.
It'll be great.
So it'll be by 2025, correct? That's the goal? Perfect.
With all the new books published, they'll start going there too.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. So thank you to everybody in the chat as well for joining us. And before I go, I must thank our producer, David McGinnis. We could not do any of this without him. He created all the graphics, animations, music, produced this event. And don't forget to do all the things to help the algorithm, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow. Every little bit helps. You can find us on all the social medias at Writing Quests. And subscribe to our Substack to get reminders sent to your mailbox.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our next show is November. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Our next show is November 7th. Our special guest will be Carson Long of The Writing Theory. We can't wait to see you then. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for being here.